Right,
poor.
you say Laporte. I call you that, and I raised you Kyle Walker. Because where was he? Where was he when Son was on the left flank, curling past Edison? Where was he?
I understand that's one goal, but all three goals.
All right, but that also call Edison for the first goal. He's gone straight through his legs. So, you know.
If Laporte does his job for all three, none of those happen.
Last time I did the podcast, you made it clear, Ramone. You sat there and you made the fans know, you made me and Kyle, because Kyle's in agreement with you, that the quadruple is on. He said it's still on, even though they lost the first leg of the quarterfinal to Manchester, to Tottenham, that's Man City. A week later, we can safely say the quadruple is off, and the likelihood of a quadruple ever happening is very, very slim. Because some might say, if this Man City team can't do it, with this manager, who can actually do it? Will it ever happen in our lifetime? And, you know, I did a video straight after the Tottenham Man City game, and I was like, you know, the quadruple is off. And someone commented on the video, said, it was never on. And I had to think back and say, you know what? He's actually right. It was actually never on. Now, yes, they were in full competitions. Like a lot of teams are at the start of the season. They weren't just dragging on a bit longer. But they never won a Champions League, ever. So to make it, you know, this, it's on, like it was something that was very likely to happen. I didn't see it. I didn't call it, and I said it ain't gonna happen, and it didn't happen. The first leg came back to bite Pep Guardiola again. You said to us, Ramone, that it was a good result, and it actually proved to be very detrimental. They went out on away goals.
I mean, the thing is, what we have to realise at the end of this is that Pep Guardiola said it was going to be, it's very unrealistic for them to win the quadruple. So maybe we should have just listened to Pep and say, you know what, actually, the quadruple wasn't really on, and Pep called it. Like, Pep said it weren't going to happen, and we just got carried away, and we didn't even really think about it. But, I mean, the treble is definitely still on, and it has been from the start of the season. But no, in terms of the Champions League, I mean, as you said, you know, we have to think about this. Man City have never won Champions League. This is maybe their best ever chance to have won it. But on the night, it was. Well, it was a mad game. It was a mad game, and it could have gone either way. Like, it could have gone either way. Depends on. And for me, the reason why City lost that game is because of Laporte.
How can you blame
Laporte?
How can you blame one guy?
It was poor.
All right, but
for all three goals, he was poor.
You say Laporte. I call you that, and I raised you Kyle Walker, because where was he? Where was he when Son was on the left flank, curling past Edison? Where was he?
I understand that's one goal, but all three goals.
All right, but that also call Edison for the first goal. He's gone straight through his legs. So you know,
if Laporte does his job for all three, none of those happen. He's poor. He's lackadaisical. He didn't watch Llorente for the corner. Let him go. He gave the ball away for the second goal. Wasn't in the right positions. I mean, all game he just looked like he was just shaky, and surprisingly from one of the best defenders in the Premier League you've seen this season. And he has to take that. No one, I've not heard anyone really call his name for that for his mistakes, but I'm calling it.
No, I think a few people have said.
I mean, for me, he cost them the whole game. Going forward, you couldn't fault them, Man City. They did what they had to do, and Pep said it at the start. As I said last week, he knew what the team had to do: go and score goals, and they essentially scored 4 goals, and then Laporte let in 3. So I mean,
I've spoken to some Man City fans, and they have also they did blame Laporte, but I said to them, and I often say it when it comes to different clubs, whether it's Manchester United, whether it's Arsenal, Tottenham to an extent, or Man City in this case, or even Liverpool specifically, because sometimes they used to get onto Moreno. Moreno. And then you're like, okay, cool. He's bad and he hasn't. But then, what has everyone else done? It's never just one person's fault. It can never ever just be one person's fault, unless
it could be.
No, well, but
it definitely could be just one person's fault.
But very rarely.
Final carriers.
Okay, but you say that, but then Liverpool. I mean, Real Madrid were the better team. So why did Liverpool control the game?
Wait, it would have been 1-1. He threw the ball to Benzema.
No, but they might have scored another. They might
flapped that bell.
They may have scored a goal another way. But yeah, I'm just saying. And then in between all of that. But in between all of that, then Bale scores a wonder goal. So that wasn't the only reason. Yes, it might have been a massive thing, but it wasn't. It was not like, if Karius didn't do that, Liverpool would have won. But that's the reasoning a lot of people give. Arsenal might be Mustafi, but Man United might be Young. But then I'm saying you have to look at other aspects. When you called at the beginning, you saw Company. And you were just like, well, this is going to be a problem. Because Company's not that guy anymore. He's not. I'm not saying he made any massive individual errors, but when you got people like Moura and Son running at you with that kind of pace, you're going to struggle. When you got Kyle Walker who's bombing up and he thinks that he can get back, but he's just not as quick as maybe he used to be, or these people that he got up against are also quick. He can't get back as quick. Laporte made a mistake, but didn't Lucas Moura rob someone in the middle, or I think was that a misplaced pass?
Yeah, from Laporte.
Was Laporte?
Yeah.
Which goal was that one? That was the second goal.
Second goal, yeah. He played the bad ball.
Oh, so what was the first one then? Oh, did someone try and it was a misclearance from Laporte for the second one? Was it? For the first one, sorry.
For the first one, yeah.
But then Edison should have saved it. So it's like, okay, if Laporte didn't do that, Edison would have to do that. But then if Edison had saved it, then no one will remember that Laporte mistake. Now, Pep Guardiola didn't get the away goal in the first leg. Do you think that he was just too gung-ho, too, I don't know, arrogant, you might say, if not naive, in the sense that, well, we're just going to outscore Tottenham by at least 2 goals, basically? Because they didn't get an away goal, so they had to kind of protect something, and it didn't seem like they had any intention of protecting.
I don't know, man. I feel like he did the right thing. Maybe bar starting Company. I feel like he did the right thing. I mean, because when you're at home, you have to go for it. Like, if you don't go for it, people are like, oh, well, why is he playing so reserved? Because basically, you're already 2 goals behind. Because 1-0 isn't going to win them the game with it into extra time. So you're basically playing from 2 goals behind. So you need 2 goals to win the game. But if they score 2 and concede, they're going to need another. So in your head, you're thinking, well, I might as well just go and just massively outscore Tottenham. So I think that the mindset that he went with was correct. Whether he chose the right players to.
But then Tottenham are no mugs. As I said on the last one, you were saying they could be easily 3-0 up at half time, and I'm like, Tottenham are just going to sit back and allow themselves to be 3-0 up. I don't know. I just think that, especially obviously the game style was crazy. Like Sterling scored 3 minutes, then Tottenham got 2 back like in no time, and then Man City equalised Bernardo Silva, and then obviously about 10 minutes later after that they got the third. But I don't know. I'm thinking even on Pochettino's side to an extent, but because he's the away side, he's got the away goals. He's always got a chance to go through. When you go 1-0 up that early, someone just needs to. Well, guys, we're kind of we're nearly there, and there's 87 minutes left.
To be Company.
I don't know, or De Bruyne or David Silva. There's experience on the pitch, but nobody seemed to be able to just say, you know what, let's just.
They wanted to be winning at 4-2. Maybe you could say, all right, guys, now we're definitely through. At 4-2, they were like, okay.
I mean, they put Fernandinho on. They tried to, and then I think, but that's the thing. At that point, you could argue, say, yeah, okay, but then Spurs came out with, as soon as Man City scored, it was Spurs, they came out with an intensity, and Man City knew at that time the job hasn't been done yet. And okay, then they got their heads back in the game, and they got back in front, and then they were holding it for a certain amount of time. Fernandinho came on, they tried to hold it. And then it came to Spurs had, 2 chances after that? One was saved, another one was a goal, Lorente.
So I heard a Man City fan saying, this is why Man City fans don't like UEFA, and this is why we hate the competition, because
they can't go through.
No, they can't go through because of the offside goal, the Sterling's last minute goal, but the main one was Lorente's goal from the corner, and they were like. They bring in a route for the Champions League final why is it not in earlier? Like, because if that goal, because obviously you got VAR, and if the rule is if you score or your arm is used to aid you in scoring a goal, then it cannot be allowed. So that goal wouldn't have stood. If that was a Champions League final, it wouldn't have stood. And as it stood, Man City may have gone through. Obviously there was more time to play, but they may have gone through, and they were like, this is why we don't like UEFA. This is just, everything is just out to get us. And I was
it's funny though, because usually before every Champions League game, Man City fans boo when the anthem's being played, but they didn't actually boo on that day. I was listening out, I didn't hear it, and I asked some Man City fans, like, no, they didn't. So I think even at that point they realised, you know what, we actually need to win this, and we're all this booing is not helping the players, etc. So they got behind the team, and it still wasn't enough. Nathanael, obviously you are in a title race with Man City, and I know some Liverpool fans were delighted that Man City got knocked out. Me personally, of course, I was delighted. Arsenal fans were pissed because obviously Tottenham's gone through. For you, when that Sterling goal went in and then was disallowed, what was your emotions at the time? Because I was gassed.
I was happy because this nonsensical quadruple talk was just dashed aside, like, because it was just getting on my nerves. Like, the quadruple. I knew it was not going to happen. The minute I heard quadruple, I was like, what's that? And they were like, oh, Man City winning 4 cups. I was like, not happening. So I was just happy. Like, it was good. It was good to see, like, Spurs going through and City out.
Is that because it would improve your chance of winning the Champions League? Do you think you'll get a better chance of beating Spurs, if you get there?
Yeah.
Than Man City?
Yeah.
Their run ends at the semi-final.
Ends at the semi. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
What? Messi got licks for you. Just like,
what do you mean? Listen, we're not United, you know. We don't have liabilities like Ashley Young on our team. Yeah, we have Van Dijk. That's all we need.
Yeah. Speaking of the VAR, first and foremost, the first goal, the first incident, Laporte, should that have been allowed?
In terms of the laws of the game as it stands, no. I mean, yes. Wait, was the question? Should it be allowed?
Should it have been allowed?
Yeah, it should have been allowed. Because as I said, at the time, he hit his hand. There was no intention to handball it, and it wasn't outside of his body. It was in his body, so it's a legit goal. But I just said, and I think in the Premier League, the rule is that you can't score a goal with your hand this season. Came in this season.
Oh, did it come in?
The start of the season, but it didn't come into UEFA until the start of next season. So we're all playing the same game, football, and there's different rules.
That's the one, because obviously I understand that they've got VAR, we haven't, but the rules should still be the same.
Should be the same
in the sense that if the referee sees that someone sees on VAR, the decision should be the same. But it's obviously it's not. But then even then, it confuses me because you got people like Peter Walton, who's in the BT studios as a referee, and you got then I think who was the other one? Not Dermot. I think it was Keith Hackett. He did an article in one of the newspapers, and they were saying if the referee had seen there was another angle that came later that was like clear that his arm. The thing is, when I was seeing the VAR, I could see what was in his hand. Because you can see the movement, like the vibration of his arm. Peter Walton was talking about his knee, so I don't know what he was looking at. What? Exactly. I don't know what he was looking at.
His knee all the way up here.
Listen, he's a mess, isn't it? He's a mess. But they were saying that the goal should have been disallowed. If the referee had seen that, he would have disallowed it. But I'm like, but then his decision would have been preempting the new rule change. Because he would have been making a decision if he had given it based on the handball, based on the new rule change, which hasn't come into effect. Unless the referees have been told, even though it's not in the laws yet, put it into practice. I don't know, but I'm kind of just happy that maybe he didn't see the other angle, because for me, if that was disallowed, that would have been injustice. I think complete. Even obviously the rules are the rules, isn't it? But even if that was disallowed in the new rules, I would say correct by the rules. But it's not a handball. Like what? His hands is here. What can he actually do? He can't do anything about it. But as was a referee,
head the ball. What do you mean?
What do you mean? It was just down here, innit?
Head the ball, missing the ball.
Yeah, no.
What if it was in his head? I wanted to make it look like I've just missed the ball and nudge it in with my arm.
Listen, with it, you can see that, isn't it? You should be able to see that. But the referee, he just kind of showed like his hip, like he came off his hip. So I don't think he even saw, because he was kind of so I don't think he even saw that. But I think it was the right decision anyway.
Just quickly, I just want to say on the quadruple. The quadruple is still on.
Don't tell me you took a bloody community shield.
Yes, I am.
Oh my days.
The domestic quadruple is still on.
Look,
That was just the quintuple. It was never going to happen.
Yeah, it was never going to happen. Come on,
That's like
what
a
are we
next
talking
season
about?
job. This season, the quadruple's still on. The Community Shield and the League Cup already in the bag. Premier League, FA Cup soon come. Quadruple's still on.
First things first, I mean, we're not counting the Community Shield because the Community Shield.
I saw them lift the trophy. I saw them lift it.
I've seen Liverpool lift the Premier League Asia trophy.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
It's not official.
And neither is this. That's the point I'm making.
No, it is.
Every year. You can make 7 subs in this game. Or 6, I think 6 actually.
It's a friendly.
You can make up to 6. Any game that you can make more than 3 subs is not considered a competitive game. That is a glorified friendly. That's all it is.
It's not.
Additionally, even if you wanted to class it as a trophy or whatever, you can't use the word quadruple. You gotta use something else like.
But when I'm playing Football Manager and I win that, and straight away I've won the double.
You can't call it the quadruple. You gotta call it. You gotta call it the.
You know,
You do.
Exactly.
You gotta call it the.
Win
I
that
don't
and
know.
the League Cup, and it says, "Wow, you won the double."
Or fours or something like that. It's not because the quadruple, the treble, the double is like if you win the League Cup and FA Cup, that's not a double.
It is.
That's a duo. You won 2. You just won, no, it's not a double. If you won the Premier League
No, it doesn't work like that.
and the League Cup, I may give it to you. But they're not major trophies. I'm talking about when you talk about major trophies, the League Cup only becomes a part of a quadruple.
See, now you're making up your own rules.
No, because the reality is
because now it's not considered.
It's not major.
in the double.
It's
if
not a major
FA Cup
trophy.
and League Cup, but if
It's not a major trophy.
But if it's in the,
I might consider it.
but if it's in with the Premier League,
I might.
It's,
And I said I might.
It's a treble.
I'm happy not to. I said I might.
You win all 4, it's a quadruple.
See-
but you win it by itself.
These ain't my words, you know. I didn't make these. You don't tell me quadruple. I'm saying that if it ain't including the Premier League and Champions League, nobody really cares. Well done.
Well, they're winning the Premier League, so that's why it's the quadruple.
How
I
do you
said
know
and. I said Premier League and.
So it validates everything else.
No,
that
I
they've
know.
won.
It's Premier League and Champions League. If they don't include both of them, then there's no treble, there's no quadruple. That's from me anyway. Liverpool won a fake treble. You call it a triple. When they won the League Cup, FA Cup, and UEFA Cup. That's not a treble. You can't compare that. Oh yeah, Man United, we got a treble. Oh yeah, we got a treble as well.
But it's
UEFA Cup.
trophies.
Free trophies.
It's free trophies.
It's free. Well, one major trophy and 2 Mickey Mouse ones.
So
And whichever one you want to choose as the
1,
Mickey
2,
Mouse
3.
one.
Triple.
Triple. Call it the triple.
What makes the FA Cup more of a major trophy than the League Cup?
Oh come on, Ramone.
I'm asking the question, man. I'm not saying I agree. I disagree.
Every nation has a domestic trophy. Only certain, like Premier League, England and France, off the top of my head, have another domestic trophy. So you have so the FA, which is what all of them have, is governed by the association of that country. The League Cup is not. It's a joke. It's governed by the Football League.
Yeah, but I mean, it depends. It doesn't matter who's governed by. I mean,
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
same
matter.
team is still in the
but it's just
competition. If anything, the FA Cup just got more fodder in it.
Huh?
Just got more fodder, more non-league teams that come out. You can beat flipping Sutton United in the quarterfinals and go through. That's a major trophy. But if you beat Chelsea in the quarterfinals of the League Cup, nah, it's a fodder. You get Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Man City on the run to the final. Fodder trophy doesn't mean anything.
If I make a trophy and get all the Premier League teams to compete, like the PL Asia trophy in Premier League, just because the teams are competing, the teams competing is not what makes it, whether it's major or minor or Who is it governed by? Who is authorising this competition? Who's making the rules? Who's deciding that? Oh yeah, let's have a 2-legged semi-final. For what reason? Let's have
To make it harder. FA Cup, one little final, one little semi-final at Wembley.
Harder for the
teams that are playing in it.
harder for the worst teams.
Well, what's easier?
harder for the worst
one
teams.
game in one semi-final game at Wembley, one little,
It's easier for the big teams to win the League Cup because it's a 2-legged tie. Because the likelihood of you being beat over 2 legs by a weaker team is less. A one-off game, it's anyone's game kind of
Yeah,
thing.
but it's harder for a team in general to win the League Cup than the FA Cup. Exactly. So that makes it even harder. It makes it even more prestigious trophy. So if you beat Man City in the 2 legs and you beat them and you beat Man United in the final,
if everyone plays their strongest team, yes, but they don't because it's fodder. They know it's
also
fodder.
if everyone played their weak team in the Champions League, that just makes the Champions League
It would degrade it.
So
it would degrade it.
At
At some point, it will. If everyone season on season starts doing that, and let's say, let's drop out of the Champions League and play our strong team in Europa League. The Europa League is going to become the main competition because nobody wants to see, you know, the Makedas and Wilsons and Eddie Nketiahs of the world playing Champions League finals. But like I said, wants to be in the Europa League finals. So all of that. If the League Cup if everyone was banging their first team for years on years, then there'll be more interest in it. But they change the sponsors every year as well. Nobody wants it, Ramone. Nobody wants it.
Well, no one wants the FA Cup either, man. I mean,
You say that.
look at that Liverpool team that played against Wolves. I mean, they even know half of that team.
Yeah, that's more for Liverpool, innit? Because they might
Quadruple
not.
is on. That's what that is.
Man City are one bad game away
It's not
from
guaranteed.
a terrible season. They're one bad game away.
Okay, fine.
One bad game.